Aluminum carry-on luggage from Away Luggage. Can't beat it. Perfectly engineered. Fits in the overhead space. Go to awaytravel.com/Colin. $20 off. Enter the promo code COLIN. Away Luggage. I'll use mine today going to the airport. Joy Taylor is joining me. Urban Meyer, Chris Sims, Greg Jennings, and Greg Cosell today on a Thursday. Hope you're having a great summer. Right now, the movie industry, it's hard to get comedies made. It's hard to get people, the big money people in Hollywood, to spend a lot of money on a comedy. And The Bridesmaids back in 2011 was the last big comedy hit. That was a very, very funny movie. Did you ever see Bridesmaids? I thought it was
hilarious.
I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I mean, it was kind of like Hangover for women. Inappropriate.
It was. It was great.
It's great. And that was the last big comedy hit in America, Bridesmaids. But it's very hard to get comedies made. And the reason being is once movies start bombing in a certain genre, the money people back out. It's the same thing in the NFL. Momentum is a real thing. If you try to pitch a comedy in Hollywood today, people would say, can I put Spider-Man in it? Maybe Spider-Man has a wacky neighbor. How about Iron Man? Iron Man and a wacky, zany sidekick. That would be a good comedy. This is the new momentum of Hollywood. Big blockbuster superhero movies. It's the same thing in the NFL. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, go look at the last 4 teams in the NFL last year. Rams had Todd Gurley, star running back, got hurt, put in C.J. Anderson, got to a Super Bowl. Kansas City cut Kareem Hunt, got to the AFC Championship overtime. New England, bunch of B running backs, Super Bowl, won it. Saints traded Mark Ingram, no big deal. Gave their wide receiver big money, not the running back. This is the current momentum. This is the current momentum in the NFL. And by the way, the Rams look a lot like the Cowboys. They paid Todd Gurley, and it looks like money not well spent. The Rams have a young quarterback some of you doubt. So do the Cowboys. The Rams and the Cowboys have way above average offensive lines. Rams and the Cowboys have some spectacular young defensive stars. Todd Gurley got hurt for the Rams. Let's get C.J. Anderson. He's been cut twice last year. Boom, Super Bowl. By the way, C.J. faced the Cowboys. He had 123 yards rushing in Los Angeles. So this is the way it works in Hollywood. It's hard to get comedies made because the current momentum is comedies don't make big money. The current momentum in the NFL is Rams lost Gurley, got to a Super Bowl. Philadelphia won a Super Bowl, no star back. New England won a Super Bowl, no star backs. Saints, great offense. Just let go of their running back, traded him. Kansas City, cut Kareem Hunt. Still got to within a play of the Super Bowl. Momentum's a real thing. Look around the room. You don't need star running backs. Right in front of you. Joy Taylor with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
So you just mentioned it. Ezekiel Elliott is looking for a new contract. And while he is looking for that, he's holding out of training camp as a result and is training in Cabo. Which is something Jason Garrett seems perfectly fine with.
No real reaction to that. We're focused on the guys that we have here and what we need to do to be better every day. You know, what I know about Zeke is Zeke loves football. Zeke works very hard at playing football. He's competitive. He's passionate. He's had a big impact on our team over the course of the last 3 years. So, you know, we trust him as a player. We trust him as a person. And we'd love to get him back here as soon as he can. And we trust that he's going to be ready to go.
It's a perfect comment from Jason Garrett. He can't focus on Zeke being there or not being there. He's dealt with this before, so it's got to be business as usual. And the rest of the team is probably going to feel that way too. Everyone knows that he's trying to get paid, whether they agree with the timing of it or not. It's just part of the business. It's the icky part of the business. It's the part of the business that kind of affects your teammates, and it's a cloud that hangs over training camp, and it's a distraction and all those things. But I think most players understand that this is a part of it.
It should be noted that running back just happens to be, of all the offensive positions, the one you could show up late and play. You know, offensive lineman, it's symmetry with other players. Quarterback, you need your reps. Wide receiver's a timing position with the quarterback. Running back is historically, that's why you'll see this in college football. You can be a great high school running back, and you can come into a great program. You'll play as a freshman.
Well, it's not that he doesn't know the offense.
That's
or
right.
That he's not comfortable with everything. The only concern that I would have is conditioning.
Yes.
And sometimes what you see with guys that hold out in training camp and are training away from everyone is you have those little nagging injuries that pop up at the beginning of the season.
You're
a
not
little
quite
torn here,
Yeah.
a little irritated there, and then that drags on for a couple weeks into the season because you're not as loose as everyone else who's been going through training camp. The training camp is everyone talks about it the same way. It's brutal, it's awful, but that part of it is really necessary, and that's the only thing that concerns me with him being out. So Tom Brady is participating in his 20th training camp, and he hopes he has several more ahead of him. Yesterday, 3 days before he turns 42 years old, he said he sees no reason why he should be thinking about retiring.
I have a great time. I mean, football is, I love the sport. I love playing it since I was a kid. I think, it's hard for me to imagine doing anything else in life. I love playing ball. So, to still be out here at 41, soon to be 42, it's pretty great for me.
He looks so young.
He does look young.
It's just, I don't even know.
He's also bulked up. Remember, he said he was going to put on some muscle, which kind of worries me, but...
He said that because he wants to be able to absorb hits.
Yes. He looks I wanted to get a little bigger this year and put on a few more pounds and try and absorb the hits a bit more.
He's not a big weightlifter guy. He's more, what do you call those bands?
The resistance bands?
Yeah, he's a real resistance band guy. He's not a big weightlifter.
Yeah, I don't like weights either. I told you I did Pilates the other day. We went and did Pilates.
You were sore.
And both of us were like...
No, I don't do
Pilates.
Like what is Pilates?
It's basically like yoga on a moving machine.
Oh,
so it's a lot of...
What's the point of that?
It fires up all of like your internal muscles. Like weights build outside muscles, and yoga and things that lean you out build the inside muscles.
You know what builds my inside muscles? A good steak, a lot of protein. I had one of those last night. My inside muscles were, thank you, Colin.
I don't know. Brady's all about that pliability stuff. So
Yes.
He does a lot of yoga and a lot of Pilates, which is good because it's also very good for your joints, which as you get older, obviously that's an important thing. But the thing about Tom Brady is, and I was thinking about this the other day because it's so hard to transition out of football. What can you imagine Tom Brady doing besides playing football? Like Peyton Manning, we were like, he's going to go into all his businesses and he could go into broadcasting. And it's like, what do you imagine Tom Brady doing?
Yeah, I've said this before on the air. I don't need to go too into it, but retire to what? Like, I don't, if you hate your job or working...
he doesn't need to retire. I'm just saying, eventually, one day, if you won't play football anymore.
Yeah, if you like what you do, I like what I do. If somebody's willing to pay me what I think is a reasonable market rate, why would I stop talking about sports? Why would you stop playing sports? If I was Tom and it hurt, I had bad knees, like Joe Namath at the end, then get out of it. But if you feel good and you're compensated to a high level, just keep being happy every day.
People have been trying to retire Tom Brady for like the last 5 years. It's exhausting. When he's done, he'll let us know. Finally, two stars that have been pretty immune to the NBA's load management revolution are Russell Westbrook and James Harden. And one of them has led the league in usage rate in each of the past 3 seasons. But Daryl Morey wouldn't technically use the term load management during an appearance on the Dan Patrick Show, but he did indicate that the Rockets plan to be cautious.
Yeah, it always is. We try not to label it or make it a big deal. But we have a great training staff, and obviously our goal is just to win the title this year. We're not, looking for any regular season goals. Everyone on our team's won whichever award you can, except the championship. So, it'll be a very put together plan by our staff throughout the season to have our guys peak in April.
Thank you. Not that I enjoy this new load management style because it does kind of hurt the fans. Finally, the Rockets are not concerned about regular season championships.
Well,
He's saying all the right things.
I am so over January headlines. Like, I just don't care about who the best player in the league is in January. Like, stop it. Like, rest your players.
We've appreciated the great regular season basketball from the Rockets. It's not that we don't appreciate it. They are a great team and a great regular season team. But it's playoff time that you need to be worried about.
Also, it is different. Let me defend Houston on this. Their 2 stars now are heavy. They're smaller players, and they're heavy usage rate players. You can make a real analytics argument. They should rest Harden and Westbrook 18 games apiece. Now, if you look at the Lakers, who have let's take Toronto last year,
right?
Who had their best players were a lot of bigs. They weren't high usage rate guys. You don't have to rest most of those guys. Milwaukee, the same thing. But because your star players are, Middleton's a big, and Giannis is a big. Philadelphia's big.
They're very young, too.
But your Houston's guys are huge usage rate, smaller players. They need nights off. So I can make an analytic argument that Houston would be smart more than any team in the league to be a load management team.
Right. And I think that's what Daryl Morey is saying. Like, they are going to come up with a plan to do exactly what you're saying, because both Westbrook and Harden have played a lot of games over the last few seasons, because that's just the kind of players they are. They haven't done load management.
And they drive the lane.
Yes.
They finish at the rim.
And very physical.
Collide with
especially
bigger.
Westbrook.
Yes. So, I could argue with Houston, analytically, I'd rest guys. I'd take them both out 15 games.
I think this is a good idea for them.
Yeah. And by the way, with their styles, that's a great way to satiate their offensive numbers a little, and not have to always play together.
And bring some balance to it.
Yep. Joy with the news.
Well, that's